Hey, what's up YouTube? So today I want to take a close-up look at a couple of products here, and we're looking at two products because they actually go in conjunction with each other. One is the Aimpoint Micro H-1 red dot sight, and the other is a LaRue Tactical LT660 mount for the micro, and this is the 1/3 co-witness sight. So we're going to look at each of these individually, then we're going to put them together and look at it as a whole unit. Alright, so the first thing we'll look at is the LaRue LT660 mount, and this is the 1/3 co-witness mount for both the micro H1 and T1 sights by Aimpoint. So there's the package you get from LaRue, and inside we've got a little baggie that has some destructions and some tools. You get an Allen head wrench, a tool that adjusts the tension on the cam lock, and then some mounting screws and Loctite. And then the sight itself. The finish on this thing is really, really nice. I am thoroughly impressed by whatever finishing process LaRue is using. The machining is also impeccable. I'm really impressed by everything that's on it. You can see where it mounts in between the rails themselves and then onto the rails. Then to operate the cam lever, we pull this little guy out and we rotate. And you can even see that on the actual cam itself, they have put a mirror polished finish on that. It is super smooth. So just to help not beat up the rails on your rifle. So yeah, there's that. You can see they've milled out the insides to shave as much weight as possible, which is quite nice of them. Nobody likes a heavy rifle. This thing is solid. It's nice. I see. This is my first thing that I've ever owned from LaRue, and I see why they're so popular and why they have such a high reputation, because they make awesome stuff. Also, if you are ordering a LaRue mount, I highly suggest you order straight from LaRue. You can just take my word on that. So yeah, there's the mount itself. You can see all the markings they have on there, really nice. So yeah, that little wrench that you see in here, come on, focus. That guy is for adjusting this, which adjusts the amount of tension that you have when it's closing on the rifle. So there's that. Alright, so here's the box that the Aimpoint comes in, and this is the H1, which is the non-night vision compatible one, and it's not quite as waterproof as the T1, but I don't plan on going scuba diving with this thing, nor do I have night vision goggles. So we are using the H1. Instruction manual in like 45 different languages. Little foam thing. And then inside your case, you've got the sight itself, the tool, and there's also a battery that comes in here, but I've already put the battery in the sight. And you put the battery in the sight, you don't need to see me do that. So yeah, here we go. Alright, so here's the sight with the little rubber lens cover condom thing on it, which it's nice they give that to you, but easy to lose, I suppose. A couple of differences between the H1 and the T1 that are visible is that on the T1, this is blacked out, so it still says Aimpoint, but it's actually black, so it's a lot harder to see. But I didn't really care about that. I was more concerned with the price, which the H1 is quite a bit cheaper than the T1 in most locations. There's some really cool things about the sight that I like, and you know, I haven't actually got this sight on a rifle, so this isn't so much a review as it is a close-up. But for one, when you look through the sight, there's almost no color change. You know, it looks just as pretty much you are looking through regular glass, even though there is a coating on the lens. Whereas on a sight like the Bushnell TRS-25, when you look through it, it actually gives a pretty green hue to everything, and I think that's so that the red dot shows up better. But on this guy, one thing I don't like is that you can't go backwards through the levels. You have to go forwards, and I'm sure that there's a reason they designed it that way. But so you have to go forwards, and the first 6 settings are pretty much useless. You can see I'm on setting 4 now. There's 5 and nothing. And then 6, you can barely see it show up there. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Although the nice thing about this is that 12, the highest setting, bright daylight, this thing is going to be super bright. As you can see, it's almost totally covering up the lens there. So yeah, that's a nice part about it, but the first 6 settings are just useless. You just kind of got to roll through them. Good finish, lightweight. The adjustment covers are also used as a tool to make the adjustments for windage and elevation, which is kind of nice because I always forget a tiny screwdriver, but you always have the adjustment settings right here, or the adjustment tool right here. Either, click up, click down, click left, click right, that whole thing. Come on. So yeah, there's a Aimpoint Micro H-1. Pretty slick stuff. I'm really excited to actually have a legitimate red dot sight as opposed to a cheaper red dot sight, if you will. Although I've been really happy with my Bushnell TRS-25 so far. So yeah, also the actually, I'll show you this. Hang on a second. So while the Bushnell has something that'll capture the battery in here, it also has a spring on the inside of the cap which just kind of grinds into the battery. And while that doesn't hurt anything, it certainly doesn't. It certainly isn't very nice, and the attention to detail is kind of lacking there. But on the Aimpoint, there's actually this little rubber grommet that covers this, and it's not grinding or anything like that. So the attention to detail on the battery compartment is pretty impeccable. So I have to give another one up to the Aimpoint on there. These things are also super rugged, so I don't plan on going and putting this thing through explosions or dropping them out of helicopters or whatnot. But if you've seen the Daniel Defense video where they take their rifle and put it through the ringer, it's got a micro on it, and it has a micro T1, but they're basically the same sights. Sans this one isn't as waterproof, and it doesn't have night vision capabilities. But it literally takes an explosion to kill this thing. So yeah, there's that, and let's put the two together. Alright, so what I'm going to do here is take the Loctite they've supplied me and put a little drop in each of the holes where the Allen screws are going to go. Here we go. Then I'm just going to mate the mount and the H1 together. And then take my screws. Actually, it's going to be kind of difficult on camera, but whoop. And I'm going to start each one. And snug them up. And I'd imagine especially since there's Loctite on it. These things don't really have to be super tight. I'm sure you don't want to strip out the aluminum on the mount because that would be bad juju, and getting it repaired would probably be a pain in the butt. So yeah, be careful if you're doing this. Don't put too much tension on it. So, well, there's that. There's the mount and the Aimpoint. Pretty slick shoes, and it doesn't add that much weight to the overall package. Quick release. Good to go. So yeah, there's pretty much what the dot looks like. Ooh, let's see if we can get this guy to focus. Let's see if we can focus down here. Come on. There we go. Pretty snazzy. So what I'm going to do is get this guy mounted up on my rifle. I'll have to adjust this thing, which is what this little guy's for. And so yeah, the way it works is that this is sort of a tension nut, and so depending on how loose or tight this is, the actual cam will start to tighten on the Picatinny rail at a certain point. So if it's too tight, if this is too tight as you start to swing this down, say, just for reference sake, it'll start to become hard to push here if it's too tight, right? And so you won't be able to close it the full way. Whereas if it's too loose, you'll be able to get it all the way down and lock it without it ever actually getting snug. So LaRue says the ideal place is about 45 degrees or so off the rail, and then you'd snug it into there and then lock it. So that's what I'm going to do, and then I'll show you what this guy looks like on the rifle. Alright fellas, so here's the mount on the rifle. I actually have it sitting slightly on my other rail, but the place that it's mounting to is on the upper receiver itself, not on the free float handguard. So yeah, there's that side and that side. Give you a little kind of three-dimensional look here. It feels a little weird having this guy hanging over the dust cover, but it shouldn't cause a problem. So yeah, actually let's see if I can get a... Oh, there you go. Oh geez. So yeah, there's the side, and there's actually a first look at my my rifle build. So yeah, I got the stock all painted up with the air dry KG gun coat and everything all put together. So I'll do a video on the rifle separate. But yeah, there she goes, guys. We'll see how this guy works out, and I'm sure I'll like it. So more to come.